Association Conference matchup. Joining me in the broadcast booth tonight is Jim Diener sitting in for Mike Pfeiffer. Him and George Bauman will have the hockey game immediately following our game tonight. Jim, first and foremost, last night, let's talk about the game a little bit. It's up in Neenah. Going into the game, I had a hunch that Fond du Lac was going to struggle. Neenah, a tough team. They played Fond du Lac tough here at home, and I just had a hunch going into the game that it was going to be a tough game for them, and Neenah did a good job and came out on top.
Yeah, Neenah's quickness hurt Fond du Lac yesterday. Fond du Lac had trouble getting back on defense. Their intensity wasn't very good on defense or offense. On the offensive end, we have to get Jekyll and Rose playing better, being more aggressive to want the basketball. I don't think last night in that whole game that we had a post up into the paint. We have to get these guys fighting for position and want the ball. And on the defense end, we have to get back on defense, especially against a team like Neenah that's that quick.
Yeah, Drew scored 40 points in the game last night. And talking to Dick Diener before the game, he said Drew scoring 40 points on a game that he scored 40 points, you expect them to win. And last night, defense hurt them. They scored enough points probably to win the game, but they gave up too many points.
Well, when I was at the game, and the halftime was 32-32, and I think Drew had about 20 points the first half, something like that. He hardly missed a shot. And I'm saying to myself, Fond du Lac's in trouble because Drew had a first half like he's had a great first half. I think the only other game he had a half like that was probably against Kimberly, who were playing tonight last year when he went for like 47 or whatever it was. And I knew that we were in trouble. And then the second half, they came out and everybody was watching Drew, and there was no movement. I don't think there was nobody was setting picks. We just didn't get anything on the offensive end. Everybody was standing around expecting Drew to carry him. And when Drew scores that many points, believe it or not, that's going to hurt Fond du Lac because you have to get people involved.
Yeah, in majority of the season, Fond du Lac has had other guys like Casey Jekyll, Andy Rose, among others, Brad Reinke, step up for them. And Drew hasn't had to score 40 points in the game for them to win because all of around scoring has been equal among the players. Right now, let's pause for the playing of our national anthem. National anthem here at Goodrich High School, and we're just about ready for tonight's game. First, we'll take a look at the starting lineup. that's a look at tonight's starting lineups and a change you might notice. Nick Singer starting tonight in place of Brad Reinke. Brad Reinke, Dick was happy with the way he played, but he wants a little bit more bulk underneath, Jim.
Well, I think what the coaching staff's looking for is Nick's the type of guy that's going to play his role. He's going to set some, you're going to watch him, he's going to set some picks, he's going to go out and play 110%, and he's just going to bang. He's the type of guy that's going to be happy if he doesn't score a point or shoot. He's going to do the other little things that it takes to be successful.
So that's going to be a big key. Watch Nick Singer tonight. We're just about set for tip-off. Fond du Lac coming out in their white home jerseys. The Kimberly Papermakers in their red jerseys. Going up to tip it off will be Andy Rose against Keith Hauschel. Keith Hauschel, a 6'5 junior, averaging 13 points a game, their leading scorer. Opening tip controlled by Kimberly, and we're underway here at the Redbird Arena. Kimberly with the basketball out high is Andy Hahn. Takes it underneath to the hoop, kicks it back out to the top. Resetting the offense is the Kimberly Papermakers. Taking it slow early on. They do not want to get into a running game with Fond du Lac because they know they're outmanned. Underneath the Hauschel, blocked by Singer underneath. Fond du Lac ball out of bounds on Kimberly.
Well, Fond du Lac's defense, they're opening up in a man-to-man. That time there was good help on the lob.
Nick Singer a factor here early on. A big block shot for Fond du Lac. Fond du Lac controls the offense. Drew Diener brings the ball up across the timeline. Gives it off to Mike Koenigs. Koenigs at the top of the circle. Over to Casey Jekyll. Looking underneath, trying to find Drew, couldn't find him. Kicks it back out. Fond du Lac doing a good job of moving the ball around, making sure everybody has their hands on it. Casey with the ball being guarded by Hauschel. Kicks it back to Rose. Rose taking it strong to the hoop. And he'll be called with a travel. First turnover in the basketball game for the Fond du Lac Cardinals. Kimberly will inbound. Kimberly moving right to left on your television screen. With the basketball is Marcus Fulser. Stolen away by Fond du Lac's Drew Diener. Drew brings it up hard. Turnaround jumper off the rim. Good. Nice shot that time by Drew Diener. Gets himself on the board for Fond du Lac. Fond du Lac up 2-0, 6:45 remaining in the first quarter of play. Reeder with the basketball for Kimberly. Gives it off to Marcus Fulser. Another whistle. And
that was an awful quick 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5-second call on Kimberly. Another turnover hurting Kimberly here early on in the game. That's their third turnover. Mike Koenigs with the basketball, gives it off to Drew. Falling on the court. Drew makes the shot in. Drew has 4 points. Here, Fond du Lac up 4-0 with 6:15 remaining in the first quarter. Fulser with the basketball for Kimberly. Gives it off strong to the lane is Hahn. He'll be fouled. We'll check who the foul is on. Foul's going to go on Nick Singer. His first personal, first team. At the line, shooting 2, Andy Hahn, a 6'1 junior, averaging 4 points. Hahn's first one on the way is off the back of the rim, no good. Hahn gets one more shot. On the way, missed both of them. 2 big missed free throws, 4-0 Fond du Lac, 6 minutes remaining in the first quarter, and Fond du Lac's Drew Diener is called for traveling. That's their second turnover. Turnovers hurting both teams here early on in the game. Inbound basketball, Kimberly. Fulser running the offense. Gives it off to, stolen away by Fond du Lac. Jekyll, hard to the hoop, puts it in.
That was a good pass by Drew. Nice catch by Casey.
And a timeout on the court. Kimberly calls the timeout. We'll check it. It'll be a 20-second timeout. Kimberly trying to regroup, up down 6-0. Here in the opening quarter, 5:54 remaining. Tonight's game brought to you by Call Insurance of Fond du Lac has moved, and they have joined forces with the Jackson Agency to form Jackson and Call Insurance, your independent insurance agent. Two great agencies all under one roof at the corner of Sheboygan and Mars Streets. That's Bob Call and Bob Jackson. Because they work for themselves, they work harder for you. Call today at 923-4020. Kimberly inbounds the basketball. Fulser with it, gives it off to Hauschel. Likes to shoot the threes, so watch them here. Long jump shot by Reeder off the back of the rim, rebounded by Singer.
Singer, that was a good box out by Nick there.
Singer doing a good job early on. Post up Rose, hard underneath, blocked from behind by Andy Hahn.
Now it's nice to see that we finally went inside, but Rose has got to take that ball up strong and score that in there.
You're right, that's a basket that should have went down for Andy Rose. Fond du Lac inbounds the basketball. Drew Diener with the honors. Gives it off to Casey. Casey, little jump shot, no good. Rebounded by Rose, puts it back, and he puts it in. Andy Rose with his first basket of the game. 5:20 remaining. Fond du Lac up 8-0 on your KFC score. Kimberly with the basketball out top is Reeder. Underneath the house shell. Blocked again by Singer. Big first quarter so far for Nick Singer on the defensive side. That's what Dick Diener wanted, was good defense from Nick Singer. And Jim, as you mentioned early on, Nick's the kind of guy that'll go out, knows he doesn't have to score, just plays his kind of game.
Yeah, he'll give you 110%, and he's had a first good 3 minutes here.
Kimberly with the basketball out top is Jansen. Strong move underneath. Checking is Bergheis, who checked into the game. Bergheis strong to the hoop. He loses the handle on it. Drew on the bust out. Gives it up to Casey Jekyll. 5 turnovers in the game for Kimberly. Mike Koenings with the ball. Takes it. Fall-away jumper off the back of the rim. No good. Rebounded by Hauschel for Kimberly. Kimberly down 8-0. 4:37 left here in the first quarter. Ball movement by Kimberly. Ball shots are not falling for Kimberly here. Drew Diener grabs the rebound.
I'd like to see us try to post up Rose or Casey here.
Casey with the basketball out top, gives it to Singer. Fond du Lac patient on the offense. As you mentioned, underneath to Casey, but he'll be called with the traveling. Checking in the game for Fond du Lac is Dan Schrum and Travis Diener. And checking out is Casey Jekyll and Mike Koenings. Third turnover for Fond du Lac. Kimberly inbounds the basketball. In the backcourt, John Ryder and Marcus Fulser. Fulser gives the basketball off to Randy Jansen. Jansen looks to drive it. Takes it back out, kicks it out. Three-point basket, good for Marcus Fulser. His first points of the game and the first points of the game for the Papermakers. Rose will jump shot, and he hit it.
That's a good pass by Schrum. Rose was wide open, though.
Rose's fourth point of the game. Fond du Lac up 10-3, 3:40 left on your KFC score. Fulser with the basketball. Gives it off to Ryder. Look underneath the Hauschel. Good reverse layup by Keith Hauschel. His first basket of the game. 10-5 in favor of Fond du Lac. Travis Diener with the ball in the backcourt. Brings it up across the timeline. Gives it off to Drew, and a foul on the play. Looks like it might go on number 42, Randy Jansen. And it will. His first, team first. 3:17 remaining, 10-5 in favor of Fond du Lac. Brad Reinke checking into the game for Nick Singer. Coach Dick Diener said Reinke will see a lot of playing time tonight. He'll be one of their main guys off the bench.
Dick did a good job there.
Drew downs the basketball and having a problem. He'll have to call the timeout. We'll check it. See if it'll be a
That's
full
one
or
thing
20.
Fond du Lac has to improve on. Last night at the game, we have to get the ball in bounds. We're having a tough time getting that ball in play.
20-second timeout.
everybody seems like they're just standing around. You got to give the guy that's passing the ball, you got to give him a lane to throw and be active and move to get the ball.
Yep.
Everybody's just standing around.
Tonight's game brought to you by Minowski Welding and Repair. For custom fabrication and structural or ornamental steel, it's Minowski Welding Corporation. Plus, see Minowski for your fire protection needs, both industrial or residential. Visit Minowski Welding at 200 North Main Street. Fond du Lac inbounds the basketball. Andy Rose with it, gives it off to Drew Diener. Drew between the circles. To Rose, nice move underneath. Good pass, Schrum overlaid it. That's a shot.
Schrum had a good post-up move, but he's got to finish it. It's a good pass.
That's a shot that Fond du Lac could have used. Kimberly with the basketball. Trying to look underneath, having problems. Drew on the bust out with it. Takes it to the lane. Foul, no good. But he'll go to the line and shoot two. Foul will go on Dave Burgeis for Kimberly, his first. Fond du Lac, Jim, doesn't really look like they're in the flow of it yet.
They really, it's kind of a, the crowd's not into it. It's kind of the atmosphere is dead. But geez, we came off a loss last night. These kids got to pick it up and start playing some good basketball. We have Rose, Jaco, and Schrum, and Drew. These guys are all but 3-year starters. Drew 4 years. They got to, we're getting close to March. These guys got to pick up their game and pick up the intensity.
Yep, this is the time of year when you got to be playing your best basketball. 1 of 2 made for Drew, 11-5, 2:44 left here in the opening quarter of tonight's basketball game. Kimberly with the basketball. Out top is Matt Schultz. Kimberly will go about 10 deep on the bench. Schultz out top, strong to the lane, takes it off the rim, no good, rebounded by Drew. Looking to push it. Up ahead to Reinke, overthrew Reinke, and another turnover for Fond du Lac. That's Fond du Lac's 4th turnover. Kimberly inbounds the basketball. With it is Bill Ryan. Gives it off to Burkeis. And Kimberly throws it away. So both teams
pretty sloppy
exchanging
game.
turnovers. 7 turnover for the Makers. Travis Diener brings it up and he'll be fouled. Not a smart foul that time by Bill Ryan.
A lot of these turnovers on both ends have been unforced. It's just sloppy play.
That's his first personal, 3rd team. Drew inbounds the basketball to Travis. Travis brings it up across the timeline. Drew looked for the 3, kicked it back out to Travis, over to Schrum. Casey with it. Gives it to Drew. Drew, short jumper, no good. Good job by Reinke. Crashes the boards and put it in.
That was a good hustle by Reinke. Good rebound.
Reinke's first basket of the game. Fond du Lac up 13-5. 1:40 left on your KFC score. Matt Schultz with the basketball for Kimberly, being guarded by Brad Reinke. Now with the basketball is Dave Burkeis. Long jumper by Ryan, no good, rebounded by Reinke. Drew with the basketball. Takes it to the lane, kicks it out top to Casey. Fond du Lac, good ball movement. Drew a jumper off the front of the rim, no good. Rebounded by Dave Burgeis for Kimberly. Ryan with the basketball. Over to Schultz underneath the house shell. Bumped underneath, and it looks like the foul will probably go on Dan Schrum. That it will go on Schrum, his first, team's 2nd. Back into the game for the Fond du Lac Cardinals. Mike Koenig's checking in for Travis Diener. Inbounding the basketball is Kimberly. Schultz with it, gives it off to Chad Valentine, their star football player. Back on top, Kimberly staying patient on the offensive side of the ball. As we mentioned, they don't want to get into a running game with Fond du Lac because they know they'll get beat. Schultz out top.
That's too easy.
Chad Valentine, an open jumper, rebounded by Ryan for Kimberly. Offensive board that time for the Papermakers. Out top is Dave Bergkeis, underneath to Hauschel. He gets it and the foul. Foul will go on Casey Jekyll. His first, team third. Hauschel gets to try to convert on the three-point play. Returning for the Cardinals, Drew Diener for Brad Reinke, and Andy Rose for Dan Schrum. Hauschel gets to go to the line and shoot one. 13-7, 23 seconds left in the opening quarter. Hauschel's shot on the way, no good. Rebounded by Mike Koenigs, 20 seconds to bring it up. To Travis Diener. To Jekyll. Fond du Lac looking for one shot, 12 seconds left. Travis in a little bit of trouble, and a foul, not a smart foul that time. This time it'll go on Luke Haas for Kimberly. That's their fourth, team first, 7 seconds for Fond du Lac, 13-7 on your KFC score. Travis inbounds the basketball to Drew, has 5 with 4, 3, 2, Drew underneath the Jekyll, on the buzzer, bookings.
It was a good pass by Drew there. Everybody was expecting him to take the last shot, and he's seen the open man.
16-7 after one quarter of play on your KFC score. Looking at the first quarter scoring for Fond du Lac, Drew with 5, Rose with 4, Jekyll with 4, Reinke with 2. For Kimberly, Marcus Fulser with 3, and Keith Hauschel with 4. Fond du Lac up 15-7 here to start the second quarter. Drew Diener on the inbound. Gives it off to Mike Koenigs. Fond du Lac moving the ball around. Patient offense. Drew with it.
Kimberly's in a 2-3 zone now.
Changing things up a little bit for Fond du Lac. Drew. Book it. Drew's 7th point of the night. Fond du Lac in the first half, 7 of 14. First quarter, 7 of 14 for 50% from the field. Kimberly 3 of 11 for 28% from the field. Fond du Lac up by 10, 17-7. Long three-pointer, good by Luke Haas. 17-10 now in favor of Fond du Lac. Rose to Jekyll. Jekyll taking a hard reverse layup, no good. Rebounded by Kimberly. Not really a smart shot that time for Casey. Kimberly with the ball. Long three-pointer by Chad Valentine, no good. Rebounded by Nick Singer. In a little bit of trouble, and he's going to be fouled by Chad Valentine.
It's a good rebound by Nick again there.
Nick's had a big first half. Valentine, his first, team fourth. Into the game for Fond du Lac. Travis Diener looking around. Mike Koenigs, Travis Diener, Casey Jekyll, Andy Rose, and Drew Diener on the floor for Fond du Lac. Travis brings it up the timeline, gives it off to Drew, to Casey. Casey jump shot, good. Casey with his 6th point of the basketball game. Fond du Lac up 19-10, 6:23 remaining in the first half. Open jumper, no good by Bergkeis. Rebounded by Fond du Lac. Drew with it, over to Andy Rose. Rose taking it strong, finds Travis Diener. Travis drives to the lane, picked off by Chad Valentine for Kimberly. Haas with the ball. Gives it off to Dave Bergkeis. To Chad Valentine, being guarded by Casey. Layup no good, rebounded by Drew. Fond du Lac brings it out to Rose. Near the free throw line. Thought about it, and then thought different. To Travis Diener, to Drew. Long jumper, good. 9th point of the game. Timeout on the court. KFC score 5:32 remaining in the first half, 21-10 in favor of Fond du Lac. Tonight's game brought to you by Jetstream Car Wash, Fond du Lac's original car wash since 1962. Now their new oil and lube center is coming soon. Free full service car wash with every oil change, a $9 value. That's Jetstream Car Wash. 5:32 left. That was a full timeout. And right now, Jim, Fond du Lac still does not look like they normally do on offense.
Well, the atmosphere is completely different than last night. Last night, that was such an exciting game, and the crowd really got into it. Tonight's kind of a, everybody's just going through the motions.
It's just like a funeral tonight. This place is really quiet. Kimberly inbounds the basketball. Marcus Fulser with it on top. Gives it off to Hauschel. Three-pointer on the way. Good by John Reeder. His first points of the game. 21-13, 5:12 remaining in the first half. Drew with the ball. On the side to Mike Koenig. Koenig taking it, being guarded by John Reeder. Over to Jekyll. To Travis.
Kimberly's back in the man-to-man now.
Whistle off the ball. Foul on Nick Singer. His second.
See, there's the case for Nick. That was a foul on Nick, but Nick's trying to set a pick. He's trying to do something out there. That's that's the way Nick plays. He tries to go, set a good pick, but that time you just have to have
Nick's
a moving pick. But he's always active. He's a banger out there. Look at him out there. He's playing hard.
Having a good first quarter for Fond du Lac. With the ball is Hahn. Jumper no good. Rebounded by Fond du Lac. Travis Diener to Drew. Pushes it up to Casey Jekyll, and then he waits on it, lets the offense get set. Travis Diener with the basketball to Drew. Drew thought about it, kicked it back out to Travis. To mention, Kimberly in the man-to-man, and Fond du Lac throws it away. Fifth turnover for Fond du Lac. 21-13, 4:15.
There's another unforced turnover, just threw the ball away.
Bad pass. Kimberly with the ball. Marcus Fulser will bring it up across the timeline, being guarded by Mike Koenig. Wide open.
Rose has got to see the ball. Got to see his ball, and man, he turned his head to the ball.
Hauschel puts it in off the offensive board.
We got to get something out of Rose here. He's got to pick his game up here.
Foul will go on Marcus Fulser. Rose struggling right now for Fond du Lac. 21-15, 3:51 left here in the first half. Drew Diener on the inbound. Rose has had a couple of good games, but tonight just not with it. Strong move by Rose to the lane, blocked by Hauschel. Off of Kimberly. Fond du Lac will get it back. Drew will inbound the basketball. Drew with it, side court. Takes it. Long three-pointer. Mike Koenig's on the way, no good. Rebounded by Kimberly. On the bust out is Jansen. And he turns it over.
Sure be nice to see Fond du Lac get somebody in the touch here. I mean, we have to post up a little bit better. The combination of Rose and Jekyll got to get more aggressive and want the basketball down there.
Travis Diener will bring it up across the timeline, being guarded by Marcus Fulser. Andy Rose with it. Ball knocked out of bounds, but it'll remain Fond du Lac's ball. Drew will inbound it near side. Checking the game, Dan Schrum for Andy Rose. inbounds the basketball. Has it near the center circle. Travis for three. On the way. No good. Rebounded. Strong rebound that time by Kimberly. Andy Hahn pulls it down. Reeder with the ball. Takes it to the lane. And a foul, I believe.
Travis was reaching in.
Yep. Fouls on Travis Diener. His first. Team fifth. 21-15, 2:56 left here in the first half of play. In the game for Fond du Lac, Nick Singer and Brad Reinke checking in for Jekyll and Mike Koenigs.
I thought our intensity would be a little bit better today after getting our butt kicked last night up by Nina.
Kimberly inbounds the
See,
basketball.
that's too easy.
Long
Travis has got to get out there. That's just too easy.
Reeder with his fifth point of the game. 21-17. Kimberly quietly pulling back into this game. Travis with the ball out top to Drew Diener.
One-on-one.
Foul will go on Randy Jansen on the reach-in that time. That'll be his second. Team seventh. Drew gets to go to the line and shoot the bonus. Drew 1 of 2 from the line tonight. We remind you, coming up after this game, Fond du Lac hockey, Fond du Lac and Waunakee, George Bauman and Mike Pfeiffer on the call for that one. Drew at the line, first one on the way, good. (22-17). Second one, good. 23-17 now, Fond du Lac, 22-32, excuse me, left here in the first half. With the ball is Fulser. Falling on the ground over each other was Hauschel. Good patient offense by Kimberly. Down 23-17. Reeder with the ball. Between the circles, being guarded by Travis Diener. Kicks it out. Long three-pointer on the way. No good. Out of bounds. And it will be Fond du Lac's ball. Nick Singer will inbound the basketball in the backcourt with Travis Diener. Travis being guarded by John Reeder. Gives it off to Drew. Whistle on the play. Traveling on Fond du Lac. Fond du Lac's sixth turnover of the game. At Fond du Lac, Jim, a team that doesn't turn the ball over a lot. 6 turnovers is a lot for them in the first half here.
Yeah, like I said before, they're on force. That's just the traveling, you know.
Kimberly with the basketball. Andy Hahn. Out top to Dave Burkheist. Gives it over to John Reeder. Reeder taking it to the lane. Kicks it out long. Three-pointer on the way off the side of the rim was Fulser. Whistle on the play. And it'll be a foul on Fond du Lac.
That was a bad call.
That one's going to go on Reinke. I really didn't see what happened on the play.
No, he missed that one.
Dave tells me there's no replays tonight. Kimberly inbounds the basketball out top. Is it with John Reeder? Gives it off to Fulser. Kimberly, a lot of young players on their team.
He traveled that time, and the ref missed that one too. He definitely traveled.
Drew with it. Fall away jumper. No good, but there is a foul on the play. We'll check who the foul is on. It'll go on number 32, Marcus Fulser. Drew will get to go to the line and shoot 2. Drew 3 of 4 from the chair tonight. In the game for Fond du Lac for Nick Singer is Casey Jekyll. First one on the way is good. Dave just tells us John Myron played under Dick Bennett at Stevens Point. So some experience, and John Myron, a guy that in past years has had a really good program here at Kimberly.
Yeah, Kimberly won, they won back-to-back state championships in Division II in the early 90s. I mean, he's a good coach.
Second one on the way is good.
Kimberly's got a lot of tradition there. Their girls are always one of the best teams in the state.
And a couple of years ago, tied Fond du Lac for the conference championship. Underneath house shell, who's going to foul going to go on here? Looks like it's going to go on Mike Koenigs. Yep. Mike's first, team 7. 53 seconds left, 25-17 Fond du Lac on your KFC score. At the line is house shell. 0 of 2 from the line tonight now. Rebounded by Jaco. 47 seconds. We'll see if Fond du Lac works for 1. 40 seconds left. Casey
Sure,
with
be
the
nice
ball.
to post up somebody.
Strum takes his
Get it
strong
down to
lane.
him.
Good defense by Dave Burkheis that time on Andy Rose. Underneath the Jaco.
Casey's got to get strong with the ball.
Taken away by Dave Burkheis. Reeder with the ball. Kimberly maybe will look for one shot now, the last chance. Down 25-17, 12 seconds left. Down to 9, down to 7, 6 underneath. Bad pass off of house shell's hands, and Fond du Lac will get a chance now with 5 seconds left. Kimberly's going to come out and press, try to force Fond du Lac to make a bad shot. Casey will do the honors of inbounding to Drew.
They
Drew
brought in Travis for Koenigs for a better shooter.
From half court, off the front of the rim, just short. And we are at the half. And Fond du Lac 25, Kimberly 17. Fond du Lac, quite frankly, Jim hasn't played up to their potential here in the first half of play.
It just comes down to, again, intensity. You know, they're not playing hard. They're just going through the motions. Fond du Lac's just got to play more intense and start playing better basketball. It just comes down to going out and playing 100%.
Fond du Lac down 25-17. We're at the half. Time tonight, we'll remind you, is brought to you by Baker's String Cheese with only 79 calories in each stick. It's the perfect snack food for the kids, and it's fun. It's a fun food that is so easy to eat. Just peel it off, and it's healthy for you. High protein, 100% natural. Baker's String Cheese, the official halftime snack food of the video sports team, and available at fine food stores everywhere. Baker's String Cheese of St. Cloud. Tonight's game also brought to you by Lens Sales and Service. Lens is the name, trucks are our game. Stop in and test drive or check out our new Snowway snowplow at Lens Sales and Service. Easy to find at Seymour and Military Road. Halftime also brought to you by KFC. KFC features home delivery. Take the hassle out of meal time with KFC. Right now, order in the Packer Backer meal for $29.99. That's 20 pieces of chicken, your choice, and 5 large side orders. Call now at 921-5450. That's KFC. We're at the half here at Fond du Lac High School. We'll be back right after this on your Fond du Lac Cardinal basketball report. And back to the Redbird Arena. Fond du Lac up 25-17 at the half. And Jim, first half that really Fond du Lac has not gotten into the flow of offense. They've come out here, and quite frankly, they're up 25-17, but they really have not looked that good here in the first half.
Yeah, they just got to pick up their game. I wish on offense that we have to start getting something inside. We're just not posting up at all. We have to get some looks. We have two of the better big guys and Rose and Casey in the conference, and we got to start posting these guys up and using them inside.
All right, looking at the first half stats for scoring-wise for Fond du Lac, they are led by Drew Diener with 13 points, Andy Rose with 4 points, Casey Jaco with 6, and Brad Reinke with 2. For the Kimberly Papermakers, they are led by Keith Hauschel with 6 points, John Reeder with 5, Marcus Fulser with 3, and Luke Haas with 3. And looking at the first half stats for Fond du Lac, 10 of 24 from the field for 42%, 5 of 6 from the charity stripe for 83%, 10 rebounds, and 7 turnovers. For the Kimberly Papermakers, 7 of 21 from the field for 33%, 0 of 4 from the charity stripe for 0%, 8 rebounds, and 10 turnovers.
Say, Nick, there's a big game going on tonight. Nina has Oshkosh West tonight, and Tommy, the manager of Fond du Lac, just came up and told me that Oshkosh West is up by 11 points in that game.
So, yeah, that's a big game, and quite frankly, I thought Nina could come to Oshkosh West. Now it looks like Oshkosh West control of the basketball game. So
I figured Nina last night beating Fond du Lac makes their season. They're always gunning for Fond du Lac. They finally beat us, so I figured they'd maybe have a little letdown tonight, thinking they won their Super Bowl last night.
Yep, and that's the way all teams have been in this conference, is to beat Fond du Lac is just like winning the Super Bowl. You always gun every year to beat Fond du Lac.
Well, that's why Fond du Lac can't afford to have a letdown against any teams, because everybody's gunning for them. Everybody wants to beat the best team. Fond du Lac's won. They've been on top 5-6 years now. So they got to, they have to have their intensity up every game.
And looking ahead on the schedule a little bit, coming up the last game of the season right here at the Redbird Arena is Oshkosh North, a team that they seem to always struggle against, and that's going to be a big game as well. Oshkosh North will come here trying to knock Fond du Lac off. That's a game right now that Fond du Lac will have to win.
Yeah, there's another team. Oshkosh North always plays their best basketball against Fond du Lac. That Raymond always has a good game against us. He's struggling the rest of the year, but there's just something about it. When he plays Fond du Lac, he plays good.
And no matter how Oshkosh North is, standing-wise as a team, they always seem to play Fond du Lac tough.
Yes, they do.
So that's going to be a tough game for Fond du Lac coming up. That's looking ahead a little bit in about 2 weeks or so, the last game of the season here at the Redbird Arena. We're ready to start the second half. Fond du Lac up 25-17 on your KFC score. By the way, stats brought to you by Lens Sales and Service. Well, Kimberly will inbound the basketball. Marcus Fulser, they're still in this game. It's not over yet. Knocked out of bounds, will go back to Kimberly.
That was a good play there by Nick again.
Nick's had a big first half.
He does the little things, the
Yep.
things that don't show up in the newspaper.
Yep.
The average person looks at the newspaper and say, Nick, he didn't shoot or didn't score, he must have played crappy, but he's doing a good job. He's doing his role. You got to have role players.
Yep. Quiet night, and that's what Dick Diener wanted, was his toughness and strength and being a good role player underneath. Long three-point basket on the way, no good. Rebounded by Casey Jaco, up to Drew Diener. Drew will bring it up across the timeline.
Sure like to get a touch inside here. Andy Rose, get him down there.
Casey looking towards Andy Rose.
They got to get the ball inside.
Out top to Drew Diener.
Casey's out 18, 20 feet from the basket. He's got to get down there and want the basketball. See, he's catching 20 feet from the basket.
Fond du Lac just moving the ball around.
Rose, here, give it to him. There you go.
And 3 seconds.
That's a bad call.
I agree. Andy Rose called for 3 seconds in the lane. As you mentioned, you want to get the ball underneath the Rose. That time, a perfect opportunity, but the turnover for Fond du Lac.
I think that's the ref didn't know if he should call a foul, and he had to call something, so he called 3 seconds and bail himself out.
John Reeder with the basketball, kicks it off to Fulser, no good, rebounded by Drew, and he is fouled on the play by Andy Hahn. That'll be his first, team first. Fond du Lac inbounds the basketball.
Rose has got about 4 or 5 inches on that. Who's number 12, Nick?
That's Andy Hahn, 6'1".
We got to take advantage of getting him right there. It's all night long.
And he missed the layup.
Finish it.
And gets a second chance and made it. That's
our offense. We're making it too hard the first half. We just have to play smart basketball and get it inside. We don't have to shoot from the outside against this team.
Long three-pointer on the way by Reeder. No good. Hustle on the ground. Nick Singer comes away with it again. Good job. Good hustle by Nick Singer that time. Got on the floor, grabbed the rebound. Timeout on the floor. It'll be a 20-second timeout.
That's the thing, too, that people don't realize about Fond du Lac is, you know, Dick doesn't play that many bodies, but, you know, they have 10, 12 kids that can play this game. Most of their 9th and 10th players on this team would be starters on any other team in the conference.
Yep.
They have depth. And people think, here's Nick that hasn't played all year much. He's probably only played a total of 5 minutes the whole season. And here he's in here starting tonight.
And next
he's doing a good job.
Yep, and next year probably will be starting.
Yeah, he will be.
Fond du Lac will inbound the basketball. Mike Koenig's a little full court press coming out by Kimberly. Drew brings it up across the timeline. Out to
Right
Casey underneath. Overthrew Rose that time. Another turnover for Fond du Lac.
At least we're making an attempt this half to get the ball inside.
6:10 remaining, 27-17. Fond du Lac up by 10. With the basketball is Fulser, gives it off to John Reeder. Kimberly trying to slow down the offense a little bit, but they should be attacking the hoop. Down by 10, 5:44 left in the third quarter. Hauschel out top to Fulser. Taken away almost by Fond du Lac. Good hustle by Drew to try to take that ball away. Kimberly just moving the ball around. Again, Nick Singer forces the foul. And
see, that's the effort we need out of everybody.
And it'll go on John Reeder. Nick Singer, quite frankly, is making a good plea to stay a starter for a while. Mike Koenig's with the ball. To Andy Rose. Out top to Nick Singer. To Casey. To Andy Rose. Post up Jekyll. Strong in the hoop. Nice job by Rose to the lane. No good, but he is fouled.
Good pass.
Foul will go on Andy Hahn. His second. Team third. Dave Bergheis checking into the game for the Papermakers for Andy Hahn. Andy Rose to the line for 2 shots, 6 points on the night. First one on the way is good. Reinke checks into the game. Tonight's game brought to you by Call Insurance of Fond du Lac. Call Insurance has moved and joined forces with the Jackson Agency to form Jackson and Call Insurance, your independent agencies. 2 great agencies, all under one roof at the corner of Sheboygan and Mars Streets. That's Bob Call and Bob Jackson. Because they work for themselves, they work harder for you. Give them a call today at 923-4020. Second one on the way was good. 29-17 in favor of Fond du Lac. Post up to Hauschel. Turnaround jumper, good.
That was a tough shot. That was good defense, just a good shot.
Hauschel's 8th point of the basketball game. Mike Koenig's with the ball to Andy Rose. Out top to Singer. Drew for 3 off the rim. Good job by Nick Singer underneath. Knocked out of bounds. Will go to Kimberly. Kimberly inbounds the basketball. the lane. Strong move, barely untouched to the lane.
See how late
Marcus
we were to helping out on the ball that time? Just real late for the help.
Mike Kadings with the ball to Rose. Good defense that time by Kimberly. Kimberly down by only 8, 3:56 remaining, 29-21. Ninth turnover that time for Kimberly. Excuse me, 9th for Fond du Lac. Nick Singer inbounds the basketball to Travis Diener. That's the 11th turnover for Kimberly. Travis with the ball out top to Andy Rose. Back to Travis. Looking under the Rose, cannot find him. In a little bit of trouble now, and will be called for the 5-second violation. Timeout on the court. Fond du Lac called the timeout. And now Kimberly with the basketball. Out top is Marcus Fulser. Gives it off to John Reeder, to Hauschel, and he'll be fouled. Almost went down on the alley-oop play.
That kid's a great jumper. He really gets up quick.
Ball will go on Drew Diener, his first, team first. Hauschel goes to the line, a 6'5" junior, only a junior, averaging 13 points a game. He's their leader. First one on the way is good.
Kimberly starts, I think, 4 juniors. They're going to be another team that's going to be awful tough next year.
Tonight's game brought to you by Diener Painting and Decorating of Fond du Lac. Painting and decorating fine establishments in the area for over 20 years. Yours could be next. Call 922-2629. Second one on the way is no good. Rebounded by Andy Rose. Travis Diener with the basketball, brings it across the timeline, takes it hard to the lane, barely untouched and good for Travis Diener. His first points of the basketball game. Kimberly with the basketball. Out top is Reeder. Underneath to Hauschel. Easy layup for Keith Hauschel.
You gotta see your ball and man.
Fond du Lac quickly down the court, blocked by Hauschel, blocked again, but there'll be a foul. Looks like it might go on Bergheis. Yep, 22, Dave Bergheis with the foul. His second, team fourth. Andy Rose will go to the line and shoot 2. First one on the way is good for Andy Rose. Tonight's game brought to you by Call Insurance. Call Insurance of Fond du Lac has actually. Second one on the way is good. We'll dispose in a second. Kimberly with the basketball. Out top, underneath, bad pass. Twelfth turnover for the Kimberly Papermakers in the game. 33-24, 2:26 remaining here. Intercepted pass by Kimberly. Fulser with the ball, takes it hard to the hoop, and a foul will go on Fond du Lac.
See, that time we turned the ball over and we were lazy getting back.
Drew Diener with the foul. His second. 4 subs checking into the game for Kimberly. We'll check them. In our Matt Schultz, number 50, Doug Van Kuyk, 15, Bill Ryan, 23, Chad Valentine, and at the line is Dave Bergheis checking in for Fond du Lac, Casey Jekyll for Nick Singer. Bergheis at the line. Off the rim, no good. He is scoreless tonight. Second one on the way, long, no good. Rebounded by Drew Diener.
There are a couple bricks.
Drew brings it up across the timeline. Thought about the shot, gives it off to Reinke. On top to Casey Jekyll. Back to Rose. Rose gives it to Travis Diener, to Drew. 1:56 remaining, 33-24 here in the third quarter. Fond du Lac patient offense, looks underneath to Rose, intercepted by Dave Bergheis. Kimberly with it now. Kimberly still not out of this basketball game. Very low scoring game. Valentine hard to the rim, passes it out. 3-point basket on the way, good from Dave Bergheis. His first basket of the game. 33-26, 1:16 remaining. Drew, long three-pointer, good. That evens it out a little bit. Drew's first basket of the second half. Drew has 16 now for the game. Pass stolen away by Travis Diener. Looks forward. Missed layup.
Oh, the foul.
And the foul in the basket. Couple of missed layups, but Drew put it in when it counted. Got hammered and will get to try to convert on the three-point play. 53 seconds left, 38-27 in favor of Fond du Lac. Drew's shot on the way, off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Kimberly. Out top is Bergheis to Chad Valentine. Bergheis wide open under the hoop. Turn around, blocked by Jekyll. Jump ball called. Possession arrow, Fond du Lac. 34 seconds left. Jekyll will inbound the ball. Travis Diener will bring it up across the timeline. 30 seconds left to Brad Reinke. Fond du Lac looking for one shot. Jekyll with the ball. Traveling call. I didn't see a travel on that play.
I didn't see it either.
Well, another turnover.
That ref there has called probably 4 or 5 travels this half. Or not this half, this game.
Traveling call on Mike Koenigs. Quite frankly, I didn't see it. Chad Valentine with the ball. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. A foul. Traveling.
There again, he calls another travel.
Travel that time on Kimberly. We've completed 3 quarters of play at the Redbird Arena. Fond du Lac on top, 38-27. Tonight's game brought to you by Holland Carpentry and Repair, providing quality remodeling and complete home repairs to the area for the past 17 years. Call 921-6493. That's Holland Carpentry and Repairs. Well, 3 quarters of play completed here. 38-27 in favor of the Fond du Lac Cardinals. Taking a look at the third quarter stats for Fond du Lac. 4 of 9 from the field for 47% shooting. And Kimberly, 3 of 8 from the field for 38%. Fond du Lac with 8 rebounds. Kimberly with 3. Turnover-wise in the third quarter, Fond du Lac with 4 and Kimberly with 4. Kimberly with the basketball, inbounded, basket good. Keith Hulshell again gets fouled and puts the basket in. Keith Hulshell, only a junior, has really impressed me tonight. Great jumping ability.
He's a good jumper, and that was a good, tough shot he made there.
Hulshell will try to convert on the three-point play for the Papermakers. On the way, good. 38-30. Fourth quarter here at the Redbird Arena. Nick Singer with the basketball. Out top gives it to Andy Rose. To Casey Jekyll.
Get us down there.
Jekyll trying to look underneath. Hard to the hoop. And a foul called. There's been a lot of fouls in this game. Keith Hulshell will get called for the foul. His first, sixth team. Casey Jekyll will go to the line and shoot two. Hasn't scored in the second half. He has 6 points in the game. First one on the way, no good. Tonight's game brought to you by Fond du Lac Mosaic Tile, Ceramic and Quarry Tile, Slate and Marlboro. All installed by our professional craftsmen since 1948. Fond du Lac Mosaic Tile, call 922-2910. Second one on the way is good for Casey Jekyll, 39-30 in favor of Fond du Lac. 3-second violation. Called
there
for
again, he didn't know what to call, so he called 3 seconds. It was a double dribble, but I don't recognize these refs. I don't think that we ever had these two guys before.
I would agree, yeah. I haven't seen them yet at all either. Fond du Lac with the ball, Drew out top near the circle. Ball knocked away by Hulshell. Now another whistle. Foul will go on Andy Rose for Fond du Lac. Quite frankly, there's been a lot of whistles in this game, and neither team has really been able to get their offensive going with so many whistles. 7 minutes left, 39-30 in favor of Fond du Lac. Long jumper on the way off the front of the rim. Knocked out of bounds by Nick Singer. Travis Diener checks into the game for Fond du Lac. For Casey Jekyll. 6:53 remaining in the game. 39-30 on your KFC score. Kimberly will inbound the basketball. Hulshell is being guarded by Singer. Tough shot, but Hulshell puts
Kimberly's
it away.
hanging around.
You're right, 39-32. Kimberly is not out of this game. A low-scoring game. Travis Diener with the ball. Takes it, penetrates. Kicks it back out to Andy Rose. Out top to Singer. To Drew. Leaner jumper, no good. Rebounded by Andy Rose. He puts it back. Andy Rose with a big second half. 8 points in the second half for Andy Rose. He struggled in the first half, but has come out in the second half. With the ball is Randy Jansen. Three-pointer on the way, no good. Rebounded underneath by Fulcher. Off the rim, no good. Rebounded by Drew Diener. 6 minutes left, 41-32 Fond du Lac. Travis Diener with the ball. Gives it to Drew. Drew, long two, no good. On the way, Andy Rose. It looks like he'll be called with the foul.
Back. That was a good call.
Over the back foul on Andy Rose. His second. Kimberly will inbound. With it is Marcus Fulser, 6'1" junior. As we mentioned, a lot of juniors on this team. They could be a pretty good team next year. Traveling violation on John Reeder. Turns the ball back over to Fond du Lac. 5:37 remaining. Mike Koenig trying to inbound a can and threw it away, out of bounds. Turnover for Fond du Lac. He had trouble inbounding it. Finally did.
We got to get the ball in bounds.
Defensive pressure applied that time by Kimberly. 14th turnover for Fond du Lac. A lot in this game. You normally don't see Fond du Lac turn the ball over 14 times in a game. Haltshell, turnaround jumper, no good. Rebounded by Nick Singer. Singer with a strong rebound, gives it off to Travis. Travis Diener being guarded by Reeder. Takes it, penetrates. Under some pressure underneath, and he throws it away. 15th turnover for Fond du Lac. Stealing it was Marcus Pulser. Kimberly crowd getting into it a little bit here. They're still in the game. Pulser, jumper, off the front of the rim. Rebounded by Pulser. And a foul.
We need a timeout. Get these guys motivated.
Fouls on Nick Singer. That'll be his third.
Just going through the motions.
Bunch of subs checking in the game for Kimberly. We'll check them. Luke Haas. Raiders still in the game. Bergheis, Haltshell, and Pulser are in the game for Kimberly. For Fond du Lac, Rose, Singer, Koenigs, Travis Diener, and Drew Diener. At the top is Dave Bergheis, being guarded by Drew Diener. You mentioned a real quiet crowd here tonight. Not much happening at the Redbird Arena. Foul will go on Travis Diener, blocking foul. That'll be Travis's second. And going to the line and shooting two is, bonus will be Luke Haas. Tonight's game brought to you by Mom Pa's Grocery. The pumps are in, and now you can pick up some chicken after the game or grab a movie at Mom Pa's Grocery, Main and 12th in Fond du Lac. Mom Pa's. Some exciting new changes there. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, go and check it out. The pumps are in, and they have great chicken too, so go over there and get some chicken after the game.
I can't remember a game like this that the crowd has been so dead.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
been a long time.
It's been really quiet here. Even when they've scored, nobody really has cheered. At the line is Luke Haas. First one, no good. Rebounded by Dan Schrum. Travis Diener with the ball. 4:27 remaining. Fond du Lac up 41-32 on your KFC score.
See, we don't even have to score anymore to win this. If we play smart, play good defense, we don't have to score anymore.
Travis on the ground, ball turnover. Andy Rose is going to be called for another foul, his third. Fifth turnover of the fourth quarter for Fond du Lac. And if Kimberly were playing a pretty good game tonight, which they have struggled too, Fond du Lac would be losing right now.
Usually Fond du Lac does a pretty good job of taking care of the basketball. They probably only average, I don't know, 7, 8 turnovers a game. And how many they got? 15?
Yeah, I think 16. 16, yep.
And there's very little pressure on the basketball either out of Kimberly. So
I don't remember the last time Fond du Lac has turned the ball over this many times in a game. Like you said, usually about 7, 8 turnovers a game. That's about it. Good job by Kimberly, but a missed layup by Pulser, and Fond du Lac with the rebound. Travis Diener penetrates. He'll be fouled by Luke Haas on a blocking foul. Travis will get to go to the line and shoot the bonus. Jekyll checks into the game for Brad Reinke. 41-33, 4 minutes exactly left in the game. Fond du Lac on top. Travis at the line, first one on the way, good. His third point of the game. Talking to Dick before the game, Travis was one of them that had a pretty good game up at Neenah.
yeah, Travis had a good game.
Second one on the way for Travis is good. Kimberly with the basketball, down by 10 with 3:50 left. They want to make a run and try to beat Fond du Lac tonight. They have to do it now. To the lane. Blocking foul by Drew Diener. His third. Ninth team foul for Fond du Lac. At the free throw line is Matt Schultz, a 6'1 junior. First one on the way, long, no good, rebounded by Dan Schrum. Drew with the basketball will bring it up across the timeline. 3.5 left, Fond du Lac up by 10. Gives it off to Nick Singer. To Travis Diener on top, to Casey Jekyll. Casey with the ball will give it off to Drew. Fond du Lac patient offense right now, and that's what they have to do, as you mentioned, Jim, just take care of the basketball and they can run the timeout. Drew with it to Travis.
Yeah, we're in a bonus, just take care of the ball. We don't even have to score anymore.
Now you hear a little bit of a peep out of the crowd. And a foul. This one on number 50, Doug Van Kuyk, his first.
Well, for Kimberly, if you're going to foul anybody, Nick's probably the guy you want to foul. He hasn't had much experience at the line, so that was probably a good foul.
Very good point. See if Nick can put these down. Hasn't scored in the game tonight. Be nice to get him in the scoring column. First one on the way, off the back of the rim, no good.
Good rebound, Casey.
Good job by Casey.
Good job taking it out there.
Fond du Lac kicks it back out. In
that was
control.
The senior making a good decision there. He could have went up with it. Instead, he kicked it out.
Drew over to Travis.
I look for him to foul Nick again right now.
That's what looked like they were going to do, but Nick got rid of it and gave it off to Travis. To Drew. To Nick. Doing a good job of Fond du Lac taking care of the basketball. Travis to Schrum. He missed the layup. Partially blocked by Doug Van Kuyk. 2:15
Good
remaining.
block. Don't foul.
Ball intercepted by Casey Jekyll. Travis slows it down a little bit. Throws it up to Danny Schrum. Schrum will hang on to it and give it back to Travis Diener. To Nick Singer. They're trying to keep it in the hands of their good free throw shooters, and then Kimberly won't foul. Wide open in the lane, blocked by Hultschell. Schrum untouched, going to the lane. Hultschell came from nowhere and threw that one back.
That kid's a quick jumper.
Very good jumper. He's really impressed me tonight for Kimberly. He's going to be a tough ball player next season. Andy Rose checking in the game for Fond du Lac for Nick Singer. 1:45 left, 43-33. Fond du Lac up by 10. All we got to do is hang on to the ball and foul on John Reeder. He fouls Dan Schrum. Schrum scoreless tonight. See if we can put a couple of them in. 1:37 left, 43-33 in favor of the Fond du Lac Cardinals. Schrum, first one on the way. Off the rim, no good. Fond du Lac has struggled here in the second half a little bit from the charity stripe. Now with the basketball is Marcus Fulser.
Very good defense, and we don't want to fall here.
For Kimberly. Reeder, shot no good. To Drew. Drew smartly kicks it back out. Instead of taking out and running with it, they just kicked it back out. Good decision by Drew Diener. Drew knocked down to the court to Schrum. Schrum's fouled by Reeder again.
and a double bonus.
Reeder's third double bonus for Fond du Lac, so Schrumming this time gets 2 shots. Schrum will shoot 2. First one on the way, no good. Schrum 0 of 2 from the charity stripe tonight. Try to put this one down. On the way, off the front of the rim, rebounded by Haltschell.
Play good defense, no fouls now.
Exactly 1 minute left. Short jumper on the way from Fulser. He hit it. Full court press now. Wide open is Jekyll.
Good pass.
Underneath. Basket good.
Good pass from Schrum.
Schrum saw Jekyll wide open under the hoop. 40 seconds left now in the basketball game. Fond du Lac's going to go on to win tonight. Schrum intercepts the pass. Gives it back to Travis. 30 seconds left. Kimberly not fouling, knowing they're down. Well, maybe they will foul. Dave Bergheis on the foul. Down by 10, not much of a chance left with 20 seconds left. Bergheis gets the foul, his third. Rose will go to the line and shoot 2. Mike Koenig's checking into the game for Dan Schrum. And into the game for Kimberly. A bunch of subs now checking in for both teams. We'll check them all in just a second when they get out there. For Fond du Lac, Steve Falk, Cameron Ziggy, 34, Dallas Diener, number 12, Jerome Allen, number 20, Mark Simon, number 24. For Kimberly, number 50, Doug Van Kuyk, 34, Chris Dahl. First one on the way for Andy Rose is good. Let's check who else is out there. Josh Van Draw for number 24 in there. Second one on the way is good. 47-35, 20 seconds left. Fond du Lac in control and will go on to win the game tonight. Kimberly with the ball. Underneath to Van Kuyk, rebounded by Cameron Ziggy. Ziggy out to Jerome Allen. Alley-oop pass off the front of the rim. No good with 1 second, and that'll be the end of the basketball game. Final score, Fond du Lac 47, Kimberly 35. Not a beautiful win, Jim, but it was a win in the column for Fond du Lac tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but a win's a win. You know, coming off a loss, they did what they had to do. They won, but Fond du Lac's got to pick up their intensity down the road here now if they want to make a berth to the state champion, the state finals here. They got to pick their game up a little bit, but hey, we won.